Okay, to import an object, you can either import an STL or a .obj. A lot of the face scanners use the object format, so I'm going to press Import OBJ Models, and then this is a sample file from the Bellis 3D website. I'm just going to click the object that corresponds to the face scan, and up here in the upper right, press Import OBJ. Alright, now we're going to press Set Face Model. So when you do this, it's expecting you to hover over the model that is the face model and identify it. That's in case you have imported any other objects in the scene to help you with your design. For most people, they won't be doing that, but that's just in case. So now we're going to click Set Landmarks, and it's going to ask you to click several places on the face. So right pupil, left commissure, right commissure, and the fill throw. Okay, if the eyes aren't open or something, as long as you have 4 symmetric points on the face, that's fine. It's just kind of setting up a flat facial plane. Now we're going to mark the mask perimeter. Okay, this will be the part where if you're new to this, this will be the most difficult part. So you left click to add points where you want the outline of the mask to be. Okay, if you hover over a point and click it, you can left click and drag to move the curve, and you want to make sure that the end point is always the one that's selected. Okay, so if you do drag one, make sure you left click the end point and keep drawing around to define the outline of your mask. Okay, to close the ring, this is also where new users are going to have a little bit of trouble. So when you left click directly on a point, you select it. But to actually close, you'll see if you get close but not too close, there's a larger ring and a green preview. You left click. Okay. On the other hand, if you don't want to do that, if you're having trouble, just get your last point pretty close and press Connect Endpoints. I think that has to be within 3 millimeters, so it needs to be close there. You see it snapped together. So now take a look and make sure that you have your outline where you want it. Okay, that includes any room for protective goggles, or wherever you want this thing to seal. And also, I find that having like a little bit of a flatter vertical region back here makes it a little bit easier to place the tabs for straps. So I don't know what the best places on the face actually are, because we're repurposing dental software to design a face mask, so like I can't speak to the appropriate design, like how much under the chin it should wrap. So I'm hoping other people can chime in with that, but basically you want to make sure you're symmetric, you want to make sure that you've got your perimeter where you want it. I'm going to press Next and left click inside the mask, press Next again, and you should see a little white outline, and then press Next. So now we have the outline of the mask. Now we're going to mark the nose-mouth perimeter. Okay, and so basically you want to go from the cheek and then across the tip of the nose, and you really want to go wherever the most convex point of the nose is. Alright, follow the nasolabial fold down, and then again you want to go just kind of to the crest of the chin. Right, this is going to be used to kind of make a convex region around this. So let's see, way up here on the cheek instead of following the fold. And you can be a little bit outside of the fold. You kind of want to be on the the mound of the cheek here, so I will pull this one out. Okay, I will make this symmetric, and this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm spending a little more time to give people an idea of how this works. So just like the previous one, next, click on the inside. Next, you'll get a sharp patch, and then next again. Okay, now you'll have just this area here, and you want to left click and place your 3D cursor. Now if you click on the object, it's going to snap that cursor to the surface. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll look from the front, left click in the middle, and then look at it from the side and left click out here. And this is going to be where we're going to place any filter elements that are going to be merged with the mask. So it comes with 4 different or 5 different sample filter options. So I'm going to place a medium-sized boot that just has a 22mm port. This is one that Baron Grutter designed, and I remade one that was smaller, and then I adapted his for the medium and large. And so we place custom attachment here, and you probably want to unhide the face scan when you're doing this so you can kind of get a look. Alright, these little arrows here, you're going to left click and drag, and if you click this white circle you can rotate. So I'm going to kind of place this pretty close here. You don't have to, it's okay if it even intersects a little bit because the thickness of the mask will take care of it. So, alright, that looks good to me, and we can even get this a little bit closer if we want. And you know what I might do? I might, well, let's use this one first, and then we will redesign with the smaller one. Okay, perfect. So now you're going to press Create Mask Shell. I would just leave all the defaults, and except for maybe the seal width. That's the width of the perimeter that seals against the face. So I'll turn that up to 5 just to show you. This will be the longest step because a lot of stuff's going to go on here. That's going to take the perimeter that you drew and make an offset surface. It's going to bridge this region that you outlined with the mask element. And now we have just the basic shell of our mask. Alright. So I'm going to switch over here to the mask tab attachment. And I'll unhide the face again. I'm going to left click here and press Place Custom Attachment. And then again, use the white circle to rotate and the arrows to position. Okay, and if you need to sink it in a little further, each of these 3 colored wheels or 3 colored equators on this sphere rotate you around a different axis. And also, if you want to just kind of play with it, if you press R and then R, you can kind of grab it like a trackball. Right click to cancel if you don't like that. So left click, place custom attachment, spin it if you need to, sink it a little deeper if you need to. Don't worry if it's sticking through the mask. You won't make anything. If it's protruding in here, it will be fixed in the final step. So don't worry about that. Also, the attachments are pretty good at figuring out what direction they're supposed to be in. And also, if you drag your mask border a little further posterior, you have a nice flat spot to add these attachments. Sink it in a little deeper. Too deep. Okay, great. So now we have our attachments, and what I'm going to press now is merge attachments and choose the Boolean option first. It's the fastest, but it's also prone to errors because we're merging 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So see, this tab didn't merge. So I'm going to press Control Z, and I'm going to adjust this ever so slightly. Press merge again. Hopefully all the parts and pieces will be, there we go. If you're having trouble getting it merged, right, you can use the volume option, which almost never fails, and 0.35 is a pretty good resolution, but it's going to be slow. Okay, so I'll show you here just for the heck of it. Okay, and this makes a pretty dense mesh. If you look closely here, you can see the triangle size is very small. So, all right, last but not least, actually I'm going to undo that because it's going to make the next step slow too, but so only use that if you need to. So now our port is there and we can see the hole. And I'm going to label this. Okay, so for example, you might want your badge or your last name. So badge ID. And then we'll do 1.5. You may even need to take this up to 2.0. That's the height and thickness of the text. And then press stencil text label. It's going to pop you into this mode. And if you right click on the model where you want your text, it will kind of snap you to the surface. So I'm going to look at it from the front here, right click, then left click and drag this out. Now depending on your font, the preview may be a little bit smaller than what actually gets projected. So just go endpoint to endpoint here. Press P to project your text. You can see it's on there now. Press enter. And then emboss all labels. And I like to use the B-Mesh solver because it's faster, but sometimes you'll get a Boolean error. So yeah, in this case, these two letters didn't merge, so we'll hit emboss and we'll use carve because it's more robust. And great, as long as you see the whole thing outlined there. So now we are ready to finish this up. So I'm going to press finalize label modifiers, make sure that that's good, and it will weld that permanently. And we'll finalize the mask. What that's going to do is subtract out all the space. So you see we've got our peripheral seal here, and that peripheral seal should be about 5 millimeters wide. Yep. So now you're ready to export, and the hole is through there. So it's a little more of a complex task than you think to get stuff like this to merge and make sure all the holes are cut out, but I think we've made something that's pretty user-friendly here, especially with a little bit of training. And thank you for watching.